Are you like the millions of Americans out there who is currently working full-time yet worried about an potential upcoming layoff? Well, if you are, then this video is going to be for you. So I'm going to tell you what I did. Many of you know that I was recently laid off. Actually, it wasn't even that recent. It was August of 2024. So going on 7 months, and I made 3 key strategic moves that protected me before I was laid off and while I still had a job. So if that's you and you're worried about it, then this video is for you. So let's get started. First thing, I think everybody should know that, I am 54 years old. I'm single. There is no husband. There is no, safety net. Any kind of financial security comes all from me and my own, good financial planning. So that's the first thing. So when I was facing my layoff and kind of knowing that this was potentially going to be happening, I had to think about what would I do for the future. And so that might be where you are right now. So the very first point that we're going to start is what you can do while you still have a job is, and what I did, and it saved me, is I strongly, strongly encourage everybody to apply for a home equity line of credit. That's the very first thing that I did. That's my best advice to you. If you don't know what a home equity line of credit is, I happen to own my home, so you do have to have an asset and be a homeowner in order to use this financial product. But the reason why I wanted to do the home equity line of credit versus doing a home equity loan is because you don't have to take the money. The money is there if you need it. And, again, I was sitting there still working. You're going to have to still be working in order to do this because you won't get approved if you don't have a job. And the banks do check. They will make you send an email from your work address or some type of verification that you're still working. But I think that, it would put your mind at ease. It's something that I did. I've not had to take the money, but it's there if I need it, God forbid. So there's other options. If you don't own a home, you could potentially, it's not my favorite suggestion, but that might be something you want to think about, is taking a loan against your 401k. So you can try to figure out what your budget is for, 6 to 9 to 12 months, because it is taking a long time to find a job these days. That might be an option too. Figure out how much money you would need and look into the paperwork and see what kind of cash you can get. Not my favorite choice. There are some out clauses with regard to a loan against your 401k, so you're going to have to check into that. You might be able to make payments even though you're not working at the company anymore. It's going to be really up to how the company set it up. That is kind of, another option for many people. But the very, very first thing you should do, or if there's layoffs happening at your company right now, your job's not safe. Nobody's job is really safe anyway, but that's a really, really big warning sign that you could be next, even if you may have survived the first round of layoffs. So home equity line of credit, my very favorite first choice. So shore up financial resources, get your nest egg together if you don't have any savings, figure out a path so that there's some, cushion there for you. Very, very first thing that I did, I was able to close that loan a month before I actually lost my job. I haven't touched it. I haven't needed to touch it, but if I do, I've got it. And it also prevents you from having to go into your actual 401k, where you would pay, penalties and taxes and fees, and it's just not a good thing to do. And I understand you might have to do it, but let's try to get another strategy. That's one strategic move that I made when I kind of figured out that I was going to be losing my job. Second thing, and this is a very important thing, is I want you to start documenting everything right now. For 2 reasons. Number one, if you do lose your job and you are going to be interviewing, trying to get your next job, you're going to have to really answer some very, very specific questions depending on your line of work. And so you should be documenting all of your wins, all of the things that you do very well. And really, the main reason for that is because you're going to forget. I happen to keep my notebooks from the last, 10 or 12 years that I've been working. So, usually when I move on to a new job, everything that happened at the old job, I kind of forget about. And it's going to be hard to recall those details. So start to document everything, all of your wins. I call it a brag book. Get that together. You'll need that for interviews. But the other reason why I really want you to start documenting everything, I'm talking screenshots, text messages, emails, whatever, if you feel like you're not being treated fairly, you need to have kind of, some evidence of potentially how you have been treated. Not my number one, I'm not saying, make something up, but if there's some questionable things, you want to have that documented. It's going to come very much in handy for you should you get to a severance negotiation. So those things, and the method I would prefer that you start to document things, whether you feel like you're being, wrongfully let go, or there's some kind of discrimination, or, whatever, if you kind of have an inkling that, everything's not on the up and up and super duper kosher, it can't hurt you. I suggest that you just take screenshots, with your phone, because there's, company rules and stuff like that, but start to build a file, who, what, where, why, and when. That's really going to help. And that is something that I did. And you can negotiate, if you are laid off, you can negotiate a severance package. So start documenting everything, all of your wins for a brag book for your, going forward for interviewing. And then also just potentially so that you have some leverage in a severance negotiation. Those things should be done, and that is a key move that I did make. Because I did that, I was able to triple my exit package, which really, really helped me a lot. Because here's the deal, when companies lay you off, they're going to ask you to sign a severance package, or you can't get the money. And it's simply because they don't want to be sued. You are exchanging your signature and agreeing not to sue them in order to get the severance package. You should always negotiate that severance package and try not to sign anything. And I understand everyone's got different situations and all of those kind of things are going on. But when you're going into a severance, having an argument like, well, but I've got 2 kids in college and da-da-da-da-da. Playing on their emotions is not going to work at all. They do not care. What they will care about in a severance negotiation is if they think you might sue them. I'm not a big fan of suing people. That's not my MO. However, I was able to present a very strong case, and it worked out very, very well for me. So that is my second biggest piece of advice and second biggest strategic move that I did. And really, really helped me. The other thing is, and I can suggest in the description for this video or you guys can reach out to me, send me a comment, send documentation to me in the comments, and I'll send you a reply back in a private, DM or whatever. You can send me an email too, and I'll help you that way. But there's people out there that you can hire who will help you negotiate an exit package, and that might be an option for you. But the bottom line is, get yourself ready to have that conversation, and you have to go in there with leverage. Otherwise, the companies aren't really, you're not going to win. And so get that shored up. And now the third thing, and it's kind of sort of along the same lines, is I think you should identify a legal resource, just in case you might need that person's help. That is something that, again, I've never had to do it, but you want to protect yourself as much as possible. And sometimes maybe you just have a legal resource that you can, book a consultation and they'll give you a little bit of guidance depending on what your situation is. Or maybe you want to hire them on to represent you. God forbid that, you have to actually take the route of suing your company. That's another obviously that's always an option. And if there's real cases of wrongful termination, ageism, all of those kind of things, that's for you to determine. But if you're sitting there working at your job, very worried, here it's March 4th, are you going to still be working there on April 4th or May 4th or what have you? You want to have all of these things in place so that you can execute and be ready for long-term, unemployment. I've been unemployed 7 months. I do think that, hopefully things will be, that won't be the case very shortly. But, the average job search in this climate, especially if you're in tech, is going anywhere from, 9 months to a year. And that depends on, what kind of job you're looking for. If you're, higher skilled and looking for a higher salary, if you're older, you're an older worker, there's just all kinds of factors. So you want to kind of get that done, take all of these steps as you can right now while you're still working, so that if and when it does happen, and I hope that it doesn't happen. Oh, here's the other thing. Just start interviewing. Start interviewing now. If you're having feelings, it's probably likely. So get that together, and at least to starting to practice for interviews and those kind of things. But what I want you to do is I want you to be aware of what may potentially be ahead and protect yourself so that you're in a good position should the worst happen, and you're not, very, very worried about paying your bills, and, you can at least take time after you're separated from your company to part of it is just enjoy the time, take a breather, learn how to make bread, spend time with family and friends, do all of those things, and not have that emotional, because it really is emotionally jarring to lose your job and have an uncertain future. But if you take these moves now, I think you're going to be in really good shape. So that's my video for today. What do you guys think? Please like and comment. Send me a message, put documentation in the comments, and I will send you a note and give you some resources, some very specific resources of people that can help you get ready to negotiate a healthy severance package. But that's it. I'm hoping that, you don't have to face that or anything. And like and subscribe my channel and watch my other videos to find out about interviewing and all those kind of things. Have a great one.